Today we're hunting this hill. These lands have always been like this since the glaciers came down, rearranged these lands, and formed them what they are now. Families came into these areas and settled. A family chose this hill to settle on. And as they had their dreams and built their families and went through full generations, and the following generation took over and lived in this home, all these years spent there building this great thing of family and life. It's all very transient. The family that we're metal detecting today is the Zimmerman family. I located on an 1853 atlas, Samuel Zimmerman. I couldn't find any information on him, so I came forward in some of the old atlases in 1876. And in 1876, D.L. Zimmerman shows up. And I looked through some of the Historical Society's photos. These are just photos piled together that people have collected, and I found one. It's in the same township, on the same hill, very identifiable, it's very unique. And the initials, D.L. Zimmerman. So, I've been to this site, walked it, and there's bricks everywhere. And as you can see in this photo, there's a big brick house right on the top of this odd little hill. This is in the middle of great big giant fields, and it sticks out very uniquely. And you can see the other house there, it's wooden, the little piggy over by the fence. There's two horses over there where they just came up in a carriage. So you can see all these families in this great dream as it was back then. I think this photo is somewhere in the 1890s or possibly older. I'm not sure because there isn't a date on it. And there's no further information other than what we see here. So as their lives developed and they lived, and they had children, and I guess this family moved away from here, the grounds returned to exactly what it was as the glaciers formed it way back before they started settling here. So today we're going to metal detect this site. I'm really excited about this one. It's just really amazing to see the family, the children, and how life was on this hill. So as we metal detect today, even though all this is gone, there's traces of their existence in the ground, and we're going to find them, whatever that may be. So here we go.
So here we are on what I'm going to call Zimmerman's Knob. Now I was here last week, but it looked like this, and note the trees in the background. It was way windy. My wife said I was nuts for going, and it took me driving up here, walking all the way to this hill, standing here in the 65 mile per hour winds, about halfway blown over every 2 seconds, to think, this is nuts. So I went home. So I decided to wait till this weekend. Now we're getting anywhere between 1 and 12 inches of snow tomorrow. Nobody knows. So I came today. That my initial plan was to come tomorrow. So we're running the V3i today. We're going to be using the standard D2 coil, and that's pretty much it. I'll show you some settings and we'll get to it. Went into programs, and I'm going to run in my normal high pro. Make sure that my 10-inch D2 is selected, and I'm going to go into expert menu. RX gain, I'm going to start at 12. Discrimination, I'm going to start at 90. All metal for me stays at 70 or 72. Note, I am running in 3 frequency. Recovery delay, we're going to run at 50. And that's pretty much it. Let's get ground balanced and get going. I don't see any red, and it's up in the 80s and not in the 90s wrapping around into the negatives. All right, let's check it. I see what our target is. It's not a coin, it's a something. So here's our find. It's no big silver dollar, but it's still a cool find. Maybe a piece to the top of a lamp. I don't know what that is. It doesn't look like it. It's made out of brass. Not sure. All right, let's keep moving. Next target's right there. It's showing up in the middle bar as the highest reading. Which makes sense because it's a mid VDI. Reading pretty good. It might be an Indian. Let's see. May just be a trash signal. You can see there's something beside that brick. Yeah, that's all it is. Some kind of metal. Maybe aluminum. It's not reading real high for that, but it's something. Not what we're looking for. Let's keep going. 4 inches deep. Kind of all over the place. Huh. Man, it's like a beanie weenie can top. Not sure, but well, it says please don't litter. Got this one here at 3 1/4. More consistent hit, 29 again. Oh no. It's a pull tab. Would you believe it? A pull tab out here. Target there at 3 3/4. Another 19 to 25. It's round, but it's a shotgun shell. Old paper shotgun shell, and that's just a brass piece that's left over after the paper part rots away. It's right there at 5 1/2 inches deep. Now here's the VDI. No wraparound on that. It's reading awful high. Let's do some analysis, which I do use sizing. Let's do it on a regular swing. And on a regular swing, without losing my speed, it looks about a pretty good size. I'll try to get this out of here. Well, here's what we dug. Ends up, that is a bullet. And you can see that there's a hollow point or expandable point on the end. It hasn't been fired because there's no rifling on it. But man, that's a big bullet. That's way bigger than a 45. It's way bigger than a 50 caliber. Or it might be right at that 50 caliber mark. I have a Desert Eagle that's a 50 Action Express, and I reload for it, and that's about the same size bullet. That's a massive, massive bullet. I don't know what that would have went to, but that's what we have. Here's what I was going to start filming, but it's right here on top. I'm having a hard time today because you can see all this stuff and these little stobs that are sticking up. I can't get my metal detector more than 4 to 5 inches, you know, close to the ground. I'm pretty far away, so I'm kind of a little bit limited. I don't know, this could just be a piece of wire or something, but it looks more decorative than that. This could have been a tang on a rifle. It's kind of what it's reminding me to. If this was bent out and it had the regular contours that protected the trigger. But there is some color to it, almost like it has some silver tone, but I'm sure that's a coating. You can see the tarnish there. I don't know what that is. It might have went to like a pot or cookware or something decorative in the house. Doesn't seem all that gigantic, but it's 2 3/4. Reading a smooth 72. Let's see what that is. This is what we have. Another, have no idea. A little different. All right, keep looking. Back to the low VDIs, 5 1/2, 25, 26. Just aluminum wire. Man, there's some modern stuff out here. It's kind of confusing. Target there at 3 inches. 16, 17. Oh man. Pull tab. I don't know what's happening here. But there's some modern stuff. I just popped out of that hole this entire old brick. That picture I showed you, just imagine that's one of the bricks that are inside of that house. So I'm gonna stand it up right there and remember to take it with me. Well, I didn't even film it, but because I've been digging so much trash. But here's my first personal item, other than some of the bigger things or odd things that we found. But it is a flat button, shank still on it, so that's pretty cool. That's a 78, 80, just consistent. About 4 1/2 inches down. Not sure what it is again, but it's something. Had some mounting hardware in it. Looks like right there is rusty. And that's all we have. Look down. Can you tell an old brick house used to stand here? That's amazing. I've never seen this many bricks in my life and out in the field. It's right there at 4 1/2 inches and reading 35, 39, 43. There it is. Let's take a look at it together. Where's that? Right there. See it? Oh, it's not a button. May have a date. Man, it's pretty crusty. Give me just a second. This is what we have. It's definitely an Indian. You can see the headdress there. Let me flip it over. Somewhat tell the 1 cent, the shield right there. It looks like 1908 or 1898. I think it's 1889. I don't know. It's any of those. Either way, it's an Indian head cent, so I'm happy with that. Low VDI right on top. It's 19, 21. All right, there's something in here. It's a piece of the Crodal bell. That's what that is. I thought it was a spoon. After the last episode, I actually carry one in my truck. A little tiny one I bought at a antique store. In whole, and I can hear it ring, but that's what that is. All right, let's keep moving. It's getting more personal finds down here. I found an Indian head cent, the Crodal bell, and just some stuff. We're on top of the hill. I found a lot of trash. You know, I don't know if I'm inside the house or not, but from the photo that I have, it looks like the houses were up there. Maybe they fell down, and over the years, this stuff's worked its way down the hill. But this could be the front yard. It could be the backyard. There was 2 houses, so I got 2 shots on being out the front door. I don't know if it's this far down the hill or not, but I don't know. I'm just gonna keep looking. So let's go take a look at a piece of pottery that I found when I walked out here last time, and take a look at a book that I discovered. It's pretty awesome. Now this is my pile of stuff so far. I have my brick, all kinds of dishware and glass and crockery and stuff. I always pick that stuff up for some weird reason. But this is all trash, you know, iron and aluminum and all kinds of stuff. And then here's some of the more detailed stuff, or like more personal stuff, like, you know, the Crodal bell we just found. Now I'm always looking for these. You see that name on there? This is the bottom of a piece of china. You know, it was a plate of some sort, looks like a little saucer. And but it has that marking on it. Remember that SON and that LIED. You don't really know what that is, and then you don't know what year that is. But by this book here, it's Pottery and Porcelain, 1850 to the present. Ralph and Terry Koval is what I'm going to call it. So it's Koval's New Dictionary of Marks, and it's organized by the type of mark. So I know that mine has a circle involved in it. So I'm going to go look around in the circles, which start on page 38. So I started on page 38 and kept flipping until I found this. Exact match. It says Jackson Vitrified China, and it's from Pennsylvania, United States. Vitrified porcelain, 1930s. Now they have a way of using their dates. They think it was used between 1917 all the way to present. That is, if they're still in business. This book's fairly old, so it's kind of cool to know that, you know, at least in 1917 this would date back to, and you know, so we know that people were still living here at that time. 3 3/4. It's a definite iffy. 25s and 70s. Huh. There's a burnt pop can. A Coors can. About a foot deep. Might have solved my mystery on why there's so many new things out here. See all these coals and ashes in this dirt, and that's about a foot down, and that's a Coors can that's been in a fire, obviously not in the house. So maybe there was a pile of a house laying here later and they burned it. That means everything I'm after, just like all that brick and everything that's been in the ground a foot deep, is I need to be deeper than that, which is out of the range of this. Let me investigate a little bit, and I'll just dig a hole out right here, see what we find. Now I just pulled all the dirt out of about a 2-foot hole. It's not all that big because it's hard digging, but all the way down to the bottom is just brick on all sides of the hole. This site, from what I can tell, has been highly modified by a bulldozer or some kind of equipment. I know farming doesn't bury all this stuff. And I found a lot of beer cans and aluminum and modern stuff out here. Pull tabs and things like that, bullets. Now I know you find some of that stuff on some of these old sites, but if they scrape this whole hilltop off, and you know, these bricks, it's not like in the picture. They're supposed to be way up on top of that hill and not in a big buried hole over here where they would have dug out a big hole with the bulldozer and then filled everything in it and then covered it up. So I've just been finding too much trash. Too many like things that just don't make me think that, you know, I guess the in situ of the artifacts that are in the ground. That means they're somewhat near where they used to be in their original position, and everything's just been dispersed and buried and altered too much. So I don't know if I'm going to find much here. And poof, just like that, it's the next day. And yes, I have the MX Sport with me with the 7-inch D-Tech coil. What happened yesterday after I was finding a lot of new modern stuff? I dug that hole and I found bricks and debris all the way down in the ground, you know, and I hadn't found anything old all day besides an Indian, parts of a crotal bell, and that old little toy gun, and that was all over here. So since then I found out that the hill's been modified. The houses were tore down in the 60s. So everything on that hill, I was just finding trash. I've got a ton of trash. I'll only be able to show about half of it through my credits at the end, because there's just a load of it, tons and tons and tons of it. I thought about it today as I was cutting up a bunch of vegetables and stuff for stew this evening at dinner. I was like, the only ground out here that hasn't been modified, if the whole hill's been modified, I found some old items out here. Most all of the glass and dishware and stuff came from down here. So I'm gonna stay off the hill. And all these bricks and the real heavy debris that's out here that's not in a big pit where they buried it all, I'm gonna hunt through it with this MX Sport with the 7-inch D-Tech. So let's get to it. Oh, and guess what? We only have like 3 hours. The snow's not here yet. I don't have my coveralls and big jacket because I washed it yesterday when I went home when it was covered in mud, and guess what? It's still wet. All right, let's get to it. It's right there at 6 inches. 72, 76, 77. This is what it's reading now. You got 79, 85. It's not real consistent. It's a ring. Looks like a horse tack ring, but those always ring up really well. Nice circular, and also made out of brass. So metal detector likes them. I should have picked that up yesterday because I was through here like 3 or 4 times, but I did have a different coil and a different machine. So what I do like is that that target's old, just like the other ones I found. That's old stuff. So this is old yard, not a lot of modern trash. Now what I don't like is it's starting to snow, so it's okay. Next target, 1.5 inches. Low VDI, 30-32. You go 5 feet and get some foil. All right, keep looking. It's real small, real light. But there's another one right there. That reads pretty good. And then that's a 40. Let's do this one first. Looks like it's turned into a single 47 to 50. Here it is. Let's take a look at that. It's a nice little belt buckle. And looks like it's pretty fancy looking. I like that one. So yeah, there's a nice old find. Target there at 2 inches, 78. And kind of in an area where I've been finding this older stuff. And again, old stuff. So another old buckle. So at least we're in the old area. Wish I would have spent 7 hours yesterday down around this area. So it's looking pretty good so far. We'll keep looking. Right there at 2 inches, 65, 69. It's now 45. What's this? Not sure what that is. Different kind of find. So we'll keep looking. Right there at 1.5 inches, 70 this time. Copper strap or something that it was a tag for something, I'm not sure. So That's my last bit of tin I'm gonna dig today. As you can tell, it's very different out here from the time that I got here. The wind's blowing. I don't have the right clothes on. I can't feel my right hand. So, I was really excited about this site. You know, I still like this site. It's been changed for modern use. As detectorists, we're always looking for interesting stuff, plus coins and all the other little doodads that are cool. Yesterday, as well as today, was, they're both really good hunts. Just didn't find a lot. It happens. But one thing I did enjoy was trying out my green screen, researching all the documents that I could come up with for this site, and learning the history about the people that lived here. So yeah, it was a good hunt, skill building, and also adventure. But I know there's a stew at the house that's probably hot and warm, as well as 72 degrees in the house, and not as wet and muddy and cold as I am now. So it's very inviting, even though I like to metal detect. I think I'm gonna go home. As I reach 1,000 followers, I will never flip the switch to monetize my channel. I'm just doing this for fun. And but the music that I use can monetize my channel. By using their music, I sign into a contract that says they are allowed to monetize my channel. So I don't know if they're allowed to, unless I flip the little switch or not. I won't flip it. But if something changes, I'm sorry. I enjoy the music that I use. I can't find that selection anywhere else. And I've paid for all of it. So we'll see how it goes. Thank you everybody for watching my videos. I appreciate each and every one of you. And until next time, take care.